Well, today we're at the Decorator show home in Oklahoma City, and we're visiting with the landscapers that did this project. And with me first is Cleve Black of Cleve's Landscaping Design. And Cleve, thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you, Brenda. Glad to be here.
Now, you had this little spot here on the side of the house, but you had some problems that you had to overcome first, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We had this existing spirea hedge line. It was mature, overgrown, incomplete, and so we knew we had some gaps we couldn't fill with nursery stock because of the size of it. It was another foot taller. So it was dormant, so we started watering, fertilizing, and trimming to even it out. And we had a gap here at the corner that we filled with transplanting, and we still were going to be short, so we added the idea of a walk-through arch that filled the gap and added a more personal feeling to the area as well.
Good. Now over here you've got a really nice area. What were some of the problems that you had with this area?
Well, this area was just an existing flat face privet hedge, and then in the ground behind is 3 existing red maples that are planted off center. So to allow for that, we centered the bed between the 2 closest maples, and that helped us. It gave us an interesting asymmetrical shape, and we balanced it off as we tapered to the left, bermed it up so it would show from the street and it really grow better, and came out well.
It looks very nice. Now, what are some of the plant materials that you used in this bed?
Well, our focal point helped kind of dictate the weeping cherries with the fountain. The sound doesn't cover all the traffic, but it adds a nice friendly touch, and so with the weeping nature of the cherries kind of goes into the graceful water effect.
Makes it very peaceful.
Yeah, and of course in the spring the flowers are nice as well. Behind it, to brighten it up, we've got gold flame spirea, which the flame refers to the new growth, comes out red, and in the fall that reverses. The red is a golden color and the main body turns red, so that's interesting. And now we're also enjoying the pink blooms on it.
That's nice.
And just some annual color after that with geranium, snapdragons, alyssum, petunias.
So that's a nice mix of the annual color with your shrubs. That really brings the bed out.
Thank you.
So,
So we came over that challenge, and then we also had a square corner left. So here we've rounded it off with a curving bench, a little stone foot area. We had a column we found in the backyard, so we put it to work for some height and also to fill a bit of that gap there.
that's a good idea.
And this too adds a personal feeling, makes it feel like a garden room.
So in your arch here, you kind of had some problems with some traffic going through here.
Yes, we discovered at the last minute as we watched people walk through, the natural thing is people want to take the shortest route and then cut through the grass. Well, that was going to wear a rut in the grass, so we recycled some stone that had been dug up in the backyard and kind of quickly that last day laid this stone path and made some steps there to get people right to the sidewalk.
So kind of directing your traffic with a little bit of visual aid
Right,
there.
so most of the time that worked.
Well, good. Now here you've got some really nice hanging baskets here, but I would think that watering these would be a bit of a problem.
Well, it's a challenge in windy weather, and so to prepare for it, it's lined in a cocoa fiber, and then we did 3 things. The usual first thing is mulching the surface, but we also tried some new products, or one's newer than the other. At the base we use this rain mat. It's made in England, and added our soil on top of that, and this adds or helps hold water. They claim it reduces watering by 90%.
Oh, good.
We'll see. It really would show up more in the summertime, but when things have rooted more, but every little bit helps.
That's true.
And then we mixed through the soil mix some agri-soaked crystals.
Right.
And these don't start immediately, but after several waterings will also absorb water and slow down your frequency of watering. So we knew they were going to be challenged out here, and they were. Originally, I had bougainvillea in both baskets as well, and a late frost nipped those back.
Got those.
So those are elsewhere trying to recover, and we came back with some water hardy periwinkle.
Okay.
So.
So, well, Clee, you've done a nice job of transforming your little spot here, and we really appreciate you telling us about it.
Appreciate your being here.
Well, our second designer today is Mark Hall of Mark Hall Landscaping. And Mark, thank you for coming and telling us about the beds that you got here.
Thank you.
Now, you actually had the front of the house, and then you had some beds on the side. But right here on the front, you ended up with some problems that you had to deal with first of all, didn't you?
Right, we had a lot of drainage problems here. We bermed the bed up, added soil conditioners, and we've bermed it so it'll drain off and not run towards the house.
Right.
We've added a few plants. When we took this bed over, we only had just a few Yopon hollies. We've added some dwarf Yopon hollies and a few barberries, and the rest are flowers.
So now these dwarf Yopon hollies, they're very nice.
Yes, these stay small and round. They don't get real big, and they don't overtake your beds.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We've added a few landscape boulders, and then we've enhanced the beds with all the flowers.
So now this is nice. These are kind of a seasonal look here.
Right.
You
These
got
are
your
the
color.
red begonias.
So, well, this is a very nice. You've got the evergreens that'll give you some year-round, and then you've got your nice flowers for right now.
You'll have color year-round.
So this is a very eye-catching look for the front of the house. Now over here on the north side of the house, you've got another bed. You want to go take a look at that?
Sure.
Mark, this is definitely on the north side. You've got a lot of shade to deal with here.
Yeah, we do have a lot of shade here. Most of the plants that we have to put over here are all shade plants. Well, here we have a pink dogwood, which is pretty much all a shade tree.
Right.
Then we have your begonias. We have your hostas. We didn't have a lot of drainage problem over here, so we didn't have to do a lot of berming over here on this side of the house.
You've also got the
hydrangeas
here.
They bloom. They'll be coming out here pretty quick.
And
Your
also,
azaleas, we have azaleas here.
that's nice. So I like how you've used azaleas, but not all azaleas, so you'll have color year-round.
Well, it all flows. You'll have color through the beds all through the summer.
That's nice. This is a pretty
This
tree
is
here.
this is here is an Atlas cedar. These are real pretty trees. They do real well here in the shade. Also with your yews, we have yews that do well in the shade.
Well, this bed, from when it started, there wasn't anything here at all.
It was just a dirt spot.
You've done a nice job of transforming this area into
you.
a really nice shade bed.
Thank you.
So,
With the curved bed, we give it a little bit more flow. You got so many straight lines with the house.
Right.
It breaks it up.
so that's a very good idea. And I also like your use of the boulders here in this bed too.
Yes, we use the landscape boulders. I use a lot of the landscape boulders. I think it adds a lot to the beds. It breaks up the...
So, well, Mark, we really appreciate you telling us about your project here.
Well, thank you. It's been nice being here.
Well, our next stop at the Decorator Show Home is at the herb garden. It was actually put in by the people at Harn Homestead. And with us today is Terry Griffith. He's actually the curator at Harn Homestead. And Terry, you're going to kind of give us a little herb primer.
Yes.
Good.
Do my best.
Very good.
Start back here in the back with the basil, which is the king of herbs. It's used as a culinary for making Italian dishes such as pesto. You should never allow your basil to flower like this. Otherwise it won't bush out to its fullness. Next to the basil we have pineapple sage, which is a great bee attractor. This brilliant red flower.
That's pretty.
Have some fennel that's mixed in with lavender. The Greeks believed that the fennel would cure fatness for those who are overweight. And the lavender, of course, the Romans bathed with lavender in their bath. And then mixed in with those two herbs, we have mint. And if you want to put mint inside your herb garden, you should at least try to contain it. Maybe
Yes.
keep it in its original container,
Mhm.
otherwise it will spread and choke out the rest of your herbs. But the mint, spearmint's used in gum, peppermint was a great antiseptic. And if you ever get a headache, you can rub peppermint on your temples.
Really?
And it'll help alleviate the headache.
Oh, wow.
Have parsley, which the Greeks believed was a good source of strength and courage.
You've actually got 2 types of parsley in here, don't
Yes,
you?
we have an Italian variety, which is the flat leaf,
Mhm.
and then the more common curly leaf parsley.
Okay. And now you've got, in addition to the pineapple sage, you've got some of the regular sage, and I also see purple sage.
Right,
in
we
here.
have purple sage and the regular sage that most people are familiar with in the seasoning of sausage.
I like that sage smell. It makes me think of stuffing.
Yes.
Now, this has been a really good herb primer, and if people want to learn more or just see herbs, you actually have a nice garden there at the Harn
Yes, we
Homestead.
have a fairly large herb garden there at the museum, and we have an herb brochure that was put together by one of our board members, Danny B. Hightower, that is very helpful in identifying the herbs and learning more about the legends and the folklores.
Great. So if people want to learn more, they should stop by there then.
Stop by. We're at 313 Northeast 16th, and our hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay. Well, we appreciate this. This was fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
We're here at the back of the house, and it's kind of a nice oasis. This area was designed by Lance Settles of Settles Brothers Landscape and Design.
That's right.
Oh, great. Well, Lance, what were you trying to achieve here, but kind of with this terraced area?
Well, over here, whenever the new patio was put in, the patio was obviously much higher than the existing level of the yard down below here. And so we wanted to give it that terraced effect. Also incorporate kind of a buffer area so that anyone on the patio, when the homeowners are entertaining, that there would kind of be that buffer zone here so that
Right.
to prevent someone from stepping off the edge. Because the new patio was poured quite a bit higher than the older patio. And so for several reasons, actually.
This is a nice area. And what did you use here, landscape-wise?
We have Japanese yews across the back. We use some azaleas here in front. The homeowners are big fans of azaleas. They should do really well here with the amount of shade under
Right.
under the large trees.
That's good.
Japanese red maple down here against the wall. Something dark against the lighter wall, I think shows up
shows
really
that.
nice. And then down here at the end, the Globosa blue spruce.
Oh, yes.
And that pretty much took care of this bed.
That's pretty simple, really.
Very simple, very simple.
But you
Not a lot of
achieved
maintenance.
That's good. That's good. Now you've got a nice pond here. What did you do to construct this?
Basically, it's more rock than anything, obviously. It's lined with a 45 mil rubber pond liner, and obviously we're recirculating the water for the waterfall, and that's basically it. But it could easily hold fish, plants, whatever the homeowner felt like they would like to put into it.
Very nice. Now I noticed that there's a light here, and we've also got some lights here along the pathway too.
We installed the lighting also, and obviously the light you see here at the edge of the pond is for the waterfall. We have a couple of uplights on the trees themselves, and obviously the pathway lights here for any traffic in the evening so that people can see where they're going.
So that's just a nice safety feature.
A nice safety feature, exactly.
Now over here, you've also done this bed, and I like your selection of what plant materials on this side.
Well, thank you very much. We wanted to keep a real balanced look, and so basically, once again, on this side of the steps now, we have another Globosa blue spruce. We're still with the Japanese yews here, another Japanese red maple. We have Moon Bay Nandinas against the bay windows across the back, the dwarf Nandinas out in front over here, and Smoke Tree at the end
I
for once
like
again
that.
some more color.
It's a different plant, but it's still got that purple theme.
Right, right. And obviously it likes the sun, and sun provides better color for it. So
Right.
we wanted to incorporate one, and of the entire backyard, this seems to be the area with obviously the most sun. It's furthest away from the shade. So we incorporated that along with quite a few nandinas. The blue fescue grass here, something kind of different and unique. And that's what we've done.
So, well, overall, it's really a pretty low maintenance bed.
It really, really is. And with the stonework, once again, with the balanced look that we've tried to achieve here, we've used the Hackett stone. This was actually recycled from the old patio that used to be out the back door, and it was removed from there. And so we went ahead and installed it as the border here, and it's just a dry laid stone. And as far as maintenance goes, there's obviously no maintenance to that whatsoever.
Now, you when you say this is a dry laid stone, how exactly? You just stack it up, or do you do something ahead?
No, basically all it is it's just stacked up. It is backfilled though with the real coarse gravel to obviously let it drain really well, so the wall never pushes out. You can see a little bit of that if you look real close. And but it does a real good job as far as retaining an elevated bed like this, and a really, really attractive look, we think.
Oh, great. Well, Lance, I like this. It makes the backyard a kind of a peaceful place to come to.
That's what we were going for. That's what we wanted to try to accomplish, so I hope we've done that.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, here on the north side of the house, Jim Hayes of Hayes Landscaping had kind of a fun project to do here. And Jim, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, quite welcome.
Now, Jim, you actually tried to do this with a minimum of disruption of existing plant material, didn't you?
Yes, we took a bed area here on the north side, which is always a challenge, and tried to use the existing material, which was 2 red maples and a lot of Ditziformis yew, add to it, add also to the grade without disturbing what was underneath it. We added the required amount, 2 to 3 inches of cypress mulch, and then planted through this material.
Okay.
Obviously, on the north side of the building, it's very hard to add color because it's a different situation on this side, but it's colorful still. No full sun here, and to add color is a chore. So we added hosta, vodka begonia. I'm not sure exactly the variety of pink begonia, coleus, and a little bit of golden barberry in the only area that we have sun.
Oh, right here in the corner.
Yes. So one of the chores that we had to accomplish was not only save money, which is our forte as far as refurbishing, but also hide the drain pipe, and also the irrigation control pressure, or excuse me, vacuum breaker. The homeowner did that with a natural looking rock. We had to hide this area at the last minute. So what we usually do with this is to plant a perennial or a sedum over the top of it to go ahead and take care of the winter color.
Okay, like in your areas where you've got begonias, you have the sedum, and then...
But we could not do that, and that primary reason is because we worked from a grade, added to it to get positive drainage away from the house, put down a pre-emergent, but that did not keep us from having the elm trees blow in their seed and root.
That's true.
So we can't plant that sedum until we do a topical on here, kill this, and then plant that sedum. We don't know if the homeowner wants to do that or not.
Well, you've got a nice combination of color here, and I really like the combination of hostas here You've got the greens, the yellows, and the whites, and it really does bring out a lot of color.
Yes.
So, well, thank you, Jim.
Oh, you're welcome. Quite welcome.
Well, our final stop today is on the patio, and sometimes people don't think about the patio as being part of the landscape, but it really is. And with us is Sierra McKee of Sierra's Unlimited Designs. And Sierra, you kind of were in charge of decorating this area of the home, weren't you?
Yes, I basically designed this area to be an extension of the interior, a place where people could spend time and relax, enjoy themselves, eat, of course, and feel like you're someplace else, but still be a part of Oklahoma.
So well, it's nice. It's kind of a buffer zone between the indoors and the outdoors.
Yes, yes, kind of a transitional area.
Now you've used a lot of very nice plants and containers, and maybe you can tell us about some of the things that you used.
Okay, because of the Mediterranean style architecture, sort of a blend of that, I decided to use these wonderful stone laced urns.
Those are great.
Which are from Statuary World, and they are one of the few or the only person who has brought these into Oklahoma, and I just fell in love with them. They lend themselves to a lot of versatility, I think, in design, and the Wilshire Garden Market lended me all of the trellises, which added dimension and height, and I love throwing all kinds of plants in there to weave and bloom and throw out texture, like the sweet potato vine will eventually grow down here.
Right.
And flow down, and then you've got your height and your wisteria moving its way up here. The peonies, which absolutely love this trellis. The problem is, though, it got bit by the freeze. So
yes.
this one didn't bloom, but that one did. And the foxglove, and we've got some rosemary over here, so we can have some nice scent while you're out on the patio.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, throw it on your food when you're eating. And I've got an herb garden over here for those that want to use their herbs for cooking.
Nice.
And this feather grass, which we'll see in a minute in a little better condition, it sort of dried out on me a little bit. So when I came in to do the smaller containers around the fountain, I decided that I needed to use more succulents because of not knowing the volunteers' watering patterns, and it just made it a lot easier in maintaining them. And the rosemary is also fairly drought tolerant.
Those actually go really well with the style of the house anyway, don't
yes,
they?
They do, yeah. So you've got a European feel with some native feel.
This is nice.
The native grasses a little bit. So.
Now you were talking earlier that one of the things that you like to use a lot is texture.
Yes,
And
yes, I love texture. I love to blend, for instance, the Santolina and the ice plant, which is flowing over the side.
That's a neat blend.
And that's a nice texture. Your grasses with somewhat tropical,
now you've
but native feel.
You've got an example of that over here in this bed. And
these containers, I do have to mention, I could not have any drainage in them because they are sellable.
Right.
And have to be marketed without dirt in them, so I had to cut out the drainage. So they've been trying to hold on. And this is a leopard plant, or also called, it's in the Liguleria family. And this is a weeping African lovegrass with your ferns. And some of these are tropical ferns, and some of are your perennial outdoor ferns.
Right.
With your needlepoint ivy, the impatiens. Most of these things will take a little water, except for the lovegrass. I just had to throw that in there for texture. For the show house, we do things a little differently.
Right.
So, and the moss kind of helps add a nice blend and a little feel like you're somewhere back east or northwest.
Right. Well, this gives you some good ideas. It's also for everybody kind of a primer on why you really do need drainage.
Yes, you do need drainage. You need drainage.
So
it's a real challenge. Now, the show house is different challenges as it is.
Right.
This is another kind
I
of
love
grass.
this.
This is called stipa or feather grass. And it's just, boy, people come out here and they play with it. And it's
That's
part of
pretty.
your texture. You've got your color, which everybody's always attracted to, but I really believe that texture is important as well. Color and texture,
Right.
certainly.
So Sarah, you've done a nice job of transforming the patio.
Well, thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.